All right, playoff predictions time. It's here. Let's talk about the kind of, in many ways, the biggest storyline heading into the wild card weekend, or excuse me, super wild card weekend. Matt Stafford versus Jared Goff, Lions versus Rams. A lot of interesting stuff. Today we're going to talk about Jared Goff, how he'll fare against this Lions defense. Starting off with this page, which I always like to, this sort of chart I make for each one of these videos. You see, this is where each team ranks in specific positional categories according to Pro Football Focus, and you see the massive mismatch right off the bat. I mean, the Lions have the 6th highest graded passing unit with Jared Goff. That's just throwing, and then receiving is 3rd best, going up against the 31st coverage unit. So, okay, well, I guess the Lions are going to win. That's it. Okay, thanks for watching. No, okay, obviously there still is more to it than that, but if you're a Rams fan, you might be a little bit concerned if you see this. No denying it. Also, the pass blocking, while usually the Rams can sometimes make up for some of that with, the really kind of incredible 1-2 punch on the inside with Aaron Donald and Kobe Turner, who have both been great this season. They don't really have a ton of edge talent here, and again, for the Detroit, they have a really good pass blocking offensive line and an incredible run blocking offensive line. That's second best in football. The run defense for the Rams is 7th here, and I forgot to put the halfback grades on there for the Lions, but they're very good as well. Gibbs, 16th best graded back, and Montgomery, 10th best. That's out of 61 eligible players. So Lions should be able to run the ball, and they should be able to throw the ball. This chart is an interesting one to look at as well. It is kind of worth mentioning that the Lions will run the ball maybe a little bit more than the average team does. So their pass frequency over expected is -1%. Or -4%, excuse me, total. So they are a team that like to run the football, and that's something that maybe could play into the Rams' hands, because I do think the key way to win is to throw the football, but maybe they won't do that so much. So that's maybe something to note. So let's talk about how do you beat this Rams coverage unit. And again, Rams, they like a lot of zone coverage. That is what they like to do. This is a cover 2 zone scenario. You see Odell Beckham Jr.'s route on display. Again, these two teams did not play each other in the regular season, the Rams and Lions. So using footage from other games to predict this, which is still fun. Watch as when you see, Odell on display, kind of the corner moves in a little bit here for the Los Angeles Rams. So Odell kind of realizes this. This is Darian Kendrick, who, again, a lot of young players here for LA that maybe haven't seen it all. You get Odell to run further deep. He's going to get wide open on this play. It's actually a bit of a weird throw. I believe that was ruled incomplete, but, one of the rare times Odell and Lamar weren't quite on the same page, but huge window there, and that is something that the Rams, they just will give up sometimes, that over-the-middle stuff. Also, they'll give up stuff like this sometimes, which is, again, you can kind of know that zone coverage is going to come a lot and, scheme stuff up. Something like this. They have their 2 receivers who are lined up to the Ravens' left, running for deeper routes that'll eventually go over the middle. Then Isaiah Likely, hopefully if that area has been cleared out, he's going to run towards the sideline and maybe get open. Lamar is going to take the snap. He runs a play action, and Isaiah Likely gets wide open to the point where this is just really, you could argue this is just a straight-up blown coverage. I mean, it's not a good coverage, right? No one picked him up. It was schemed up well by the Ravens. And again, I'm not saying that Isaiah, tight ends were getting open every single play when you play the Rams, but just there are these kind of moments. The Ravens are good at this stuff, but you know what? The Lions are good at this stuff. Watch as it's a good throw from Lamar. Isaiah Likely does a good job in open space. He gets the touchdown there. That's just something that the Rams they're going to have to try and figure out a way to not let happen. But definitely, it's concerning if you're a Rams fan, especially when you factor in just how good the Lions are at doing exactly what I'm showing the Rams are capable of getting beat when teams do. Like, this one's a great example of just how devastating they can run these types of concepts, where you have a receiver running a deep route over the middle. Sam Laporta is going to then run towards the sideline. But watch how, when Goff runs this play action, Packers players get very out of position to the point where, look at this window right here. This is just what the Lions do. And listen, Sam Laporta is injured. I don't think he's going to go in this game, so that's definitely something that hurts the Lions. But they'll still be able to scheme stuff like this up against with other players, right? If Brock Wright has to run these routes, I'm sure they can make it work. They'll probably just use other receivers, though. As you see, Goff, of course, makes the throw, and they're able to pick up a big gain there. Really, I only see one way that this Rams defense can slow down the Lions offense. There's only really one way I can envision it, and it's going to be what we're going to talk about on this play. This is maybe the one way that you can do it, because again, I picked out the Packers defense because I figured that was kind of a similar defense to the Rams, but it is worth mentioning, in this game, the Packers won. Well, how were they able to do it? They were able to score a bunch, which is definitely something that we'll talk about once we get to the other side of the ball. But the other aspect was something like this. It's a zone coverage blitz, actually, by the Packers. Watch as when Goff takes the snap, he looks up and he doesn't really love what he sees right away. Where he's looking at isn't really open. Granted, there are, appears to be Jameson Williams kind of underneath, sort of towards the bottom of the screen. He looks to be open, but again, you can't see the whole field at once, and for Green Bay, there's now pressure coming, so Goff has to try and make something happen. He ends up stepping up, and then eventually the ball, he gets hit, the ball comes out. That was actually a fumble touchdown by the Green Bay Packers. So, to me, that is the way that you could lose this game if you're a Lions fan. That's kind of the one concern I would have offensively for them is the Jared Goff. Listen, Jared Goff had a great season, no denying that. He is someone who will sometimes put the ball in harm's way, and he does have a tendency to have the bad game or two, and if that does happen, that's maybe how you could be in trouble. Now, I would say his turnover-worthy play percentage actually hasn't been terrible this year. I think he's 13th best this season, so it hasn't been a disaster. It hasn't, but it also hasn't been particularly great. And he's someone who can put the ball in harm's way, especially if things go poorly. So if you can get him off his game, that's the one area you look towards and say, okay, well, we have a chance there. Going over to final predictions, so the Detroit Lions' offensive points per drive on the season is 2.45. Very good. Really good numbers there. And the Rams' defensive points per drive, actually not terrible. 1.99. In some years, that could even get you like a fringe top 10. This year, defense has been way up, so this is 18th best in football, which is still not bad. Like, again, there's a lot of things they do very well. Obviously, I'm touched on earlier the great interior defensive line that they currently have, which again could matter if the Lions like to run the football a lot. So I think this is still a good day offensively for the Lions. I'm going 2.6 points per drive. I think that there's going to be some real opportunities here for Detroit to move the ball down the field. But will that be enough for them to win against the Rams? Well, you'll have to stay tuned till part 2 of this video, which will be out either tonight or tomorrow, where I preview the other side of the ball. Matt Stafford going up against the Lions defense, and, spoiler alert, I'm expecting a lot of points there too. I'm expecting a pretty point-heavy game in this one, so yeah, definitely check that out. But, make sure you're subscribed and all that good stuff. But yeah, let me know what you think of this video in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.